All right, cool. CTGP Revolution running. Got, let's see. What article do I want to pick for this one thing? What do I want to go to? Maybe this one? We'll see. Okay, that's big. All right, I'll get to that in a second. Oh, shit. Okay. Wow. That's kind of like a campaigning nuke that is just dropped in one bullet point on an NBC News article. Okay. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But holy shit. First, let's go online. We'll start playing the game. Especially now that I've practiced the some of the new tracks a little bit. You know? Anybody online? Please. Aha. Wimfi. Nice. Let's do it. Wait, did I press B on accident? I think I did. I probably did. Searching for opponents. Is there anybody online right now? There is. There are a few people. Okay. Joinable? No. Really? Alright, well. Doesn't seem so unjoinable to me. I guess I joined the unjoinable room. Very cool, thank you. Oh, maybe that means, like... Can you connect to somebody playing? I don't know. I don't know what it means, really. Oh, they're playing this track. Okay. Oh, poor bastard. Fell off. What's he got? What's this guy got? What is, what? Why did he do that? Okay, he got the bullet bill. Who's in first? Mike. Okay. I don't know if that's like the best place to use the star, honestly. Yeah, he could have done that shortcut, I think. I don't know. I think really what you want to do is you want to get this box so you can do the shortcut on the right there. Maybe he didn't get what he wanted? No, he did. Just he didn't do the shortcut, I guess. Oh well, it's making it work. He hit both bananas. Silly. What did he do that for? There's a perfectly good shortcut right there. Yes, get the box. That's right, baby. Ooh. Very nice maneuvering to avoid the bomb there. Don't know how I feel about that POW, though. Earlier. I don't know if that was his POW or what. Get a box? No, he didn't get one. Looks like. Get this one. Yep. It's like he got a ton of air off that thing. You know, sometimes the lag makes it a little bit difficult to tell if you're actually seeing what they're seeing on their screen. And it looks like he's gonna get 5th. Okay. That's kind of a long track. Considering how long it took even first place and second place to finish, that might be a contender for like a 2-lap track, if that makes sense. You know? Let's go random. Since I've learned the new tracks, it should be no problem if or when they get picked. Actually, I don't remember if I played Toad's Fort. I think I'm pretty sure we played Toadette's Castle. I don't know if Toad's Fort ever got picked last time. We'll see. Most people are picking the new tracks. Yep. What's this one? Yeah, that's right. So I did play this one. I'm the only mock bike in this room. Nice. Okay, sick. Oh. The fact that the mock bike gets more air actually saved me in that instance, because otherwise I would have hit the thing. Would have hit the fake item box. Almost forgot. You're supposed to go this way. Throw those red shells at some point. I don't know when he's gonna throw those, but... Whoa, what the fuck? I was just following that other guy. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, and this is a 2-lap track. Alright, nice. Oh no. There goes my Mega. I was thinking maybe I want to use it at the next shortcut, but... Yeah. And the extra air from the mock bike saved me. One mushroom. Be out of here, dude. Okay. This race is pretty crazy so far. Gain some time on these guys. Ooh. I like this. Ow. Fuck. Fuck. Man, a lot of things are going wrong for me this race. I need a box, for sure. Okay. Fuck it. Gotta do something. Fourth place? Okay. That's the first race where I kind of knew what I was doing, and even then I played it pretty sloppy. At least for this track, for like one of the new tracks. Anywho. Yo, what's up, 1v3? Welcome back. We got new tracks in CTGP. Pretty wacky ones, too. And one big news item that I'm kind of holding off on, at least for a little bit. Maybe this next race I'll start it off. We'll see. We'll see. Raining out there like crazy too, huh? No, not like crazy. It's been kind of intermittent rain, but it's the kind of rain where you like stay inside and you get real cozy. You know, it's not like thunderstorm rain. But that does also mean it's a bit cooler today. It's only supposed to get up to barely 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's at about 5 p.m. It's gonna be in the 70s for most of the day, which is nice. Kind of like spring weather. So, you know, I've got my windows open and it's feels nice in my room. It's not suffocating, which is good. Oh, well, if nothing else, I got to do the shortcut because of that thundercloud. So that's cool, I suppose. Yeah, I need this. Okay. Oh, they both fell off? Damn. Kind of crazy. Oh, he talked shit and got hit. Cool. Well, I guess I'm the only person that didn't, like, majorly fuck up at the one section. I have red shell and blue shell protection. This is actually, like, pretty ideal situation right now. I'm risking it for the biscuit. And I got second. Not bad. Now let's do the big news. Big news. Okay. So we've all probably, anybody who follows American politics to any degree knows what's going on with Joe Biden. There are certain cadres of liberals that do not want you to believe the lying evidence of your eyes and ears, but it's clear that he's sundowning. He's so old that his age is, like, chipping away at his ability to function in a quotidian capacity. He can't speak. He can barely move. He can barely keep his eyes open. And in fact, there are some doctors now saying, "Oh yeah, he has Parkinson's," which is kind of well, it's I would say it's concerning, but more so it just indicates everything that I've already said and known, which is that Joe Biden is like dying on his feet. Yeah, he mistaken Zelensky for Putin, which I think is the biggest sin he committed in the eyes of liberals. But that's not the only thing that happened in that press conference. He said anyway like 9 times, lost his train of thought a bunch. And now there's an NBC article that has something incredibly eyebrow-raising to say. Not from the perspective of what the fuck are liberals doing, but from the perspective of I might have been right. So here we have, actually this is from CNBC, not just NBC. Biden loses his train of thought, calls Harris Vice President Trump in solo press conference. So that was pretty bad. But then there's some bullet points that highlight like one of the biggest takeaways for me. Let's see, Biden delivered a rare solo press conference in which he bungled a bunch of names. But then also, second and third ones down, 16 Democratic lawmakers have already called on Biden to drop out of the race. And some mega donors have said they are pausing donations to the Democratic Party until Joe Biden drops out of the race, which is absolutely massive. That's the thing that raised my eyebrow, really, because you know how the you know, political donations and such are really critical to political campaigning. And if you if anybody has any knowledge of the 2020 presidential campaign, you guys remember what happened there was basically Joe Biden got the nomination because the donors and like political class decided that he was going to be the nominee. You know, it was decided basically before the convention even happened, before any voting even took place, is that you know, the party infrastructure rallied behind Biden. You know, you remember everybody dropped out and endorsed him for president. And now Biden doesn't just not have the support from those people. He actively has opposition from those people that got him through the primary last time. In fact, there were some folks on cable television acknowledging, yeah, we picked Biden not because he was the strongest candidate to defeat Trump, but because he was the strongest candidate to defeat Bernie in the primary. And they were basically like, you know, don't forget who put Joe Biden there. And you know, they're not willing to put Joe Biden in that spot of being the nominee this time around. Biden has effectively, like, this is a signal that Biden is not only too old, but has effectively gone rogue. He's tried to, you know, like I said in the other video about Biden and stuff, he's tried to do the sort of Trump populism bit, but he doesn't have the riz, you know? It's just like, what the fuck are you doing, right? And the sort of donor class abandoning Biden really genuinely makes me think that they're gonna pick somebody else as the nominee. Which would be good. It's very rare that the donor and like political class interests sort of align with like my interests in terms of like getting people elected that aren't Republicans, right? But it is happening this time where it's very clear that they don't want Biden to be the nominee. Because, you know, we all saw how badly that debate went and how badly every public appearance has gone. That's the thing, too. A lot of the gaslighting from the Democratic Party and from, or not from the party at large, but, like, from some of the media messaging arms of the party and from a lot of Democratic ops and from liberals was, don't believe the evidence of your lying eyes and ears. That was just one debate performance. He's fine afterwards. And then Biden had public appearances afterwards. He had a couple interviews. He had this press conference. And in every single one of them, he was very clearly not fine. And the all indications are that even the people doing this gaslighting, anybody who has access to Biden behind the scenes knows how bad it really is. And that's probably why this is happening. That's probably why donors are like, yeah, we're dropping Biden until the Democratic Party is, like, picks somebody else. In fact, if I go to, well, I could probably find this after the fact. Even Nancy Pelosi, the neoliberal of all neoliberals in America, in the House of Representatives, said was playing coy and doing this sort of politician speak about Biden not having made the decision to remain in the race yet. Because the thing about that is that Biden has expressly said multiple times that he's the guy, he wants to be the guy, he's not dropping out. And Nancy Pelosi's like, well, he hasn't made the decision yet, which is coy politician speak for, we haven't made the decision that Biden's going to be the nominee. So effectively, she's kind of signaling that the decision is going to be Biden's not going to be the nominee. Remember, Biden isn't like a cult of personality that has any power unto himself the way that Trump does. There are some liberals that'll follow him into the depths of hell, but he doesn't have that kind of party in the Democratic, or doesn't have that kind of power in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party can decide Biden's not the nominee, and Biden's not the nominee. There's nothing Biden can do about that. And a lot of party insiders have started to lean that way. Which I think would be good for the chances of Republicans losing. You guys know how I feel about the Democratic Party. But, like, for the love of... Get Biden off the stage. Get somebody else up there. Like, please. You know? Huh. I didn't exactly do that part right, but that could have been worse. Ow. I'm just gonna throw that forward. I'm getting so many red shells. I feel like every couple races something like this happens where one person just pulls triple reds and then like more reds back to back. Well, that would have been nice to have like 10 seconds ago. There we go. That's how you do it. Fuck it, I'll throw this forward too. God, it hit the thwomp, of course. Okay, third place. Ah, here we go. Interesting. From CNBC. Just a few paragraphs in. Uh, As he has throughout the week, Biden rigidly rejected any suggestion that he should or would drop out, insisting there was no one more capable of beating Trump in November than he was. That's some peak copium. At least with Womp was something to laugh about now for the rest of his infinite slamming life in hell. Yeah, that's true. He does have something to laugh about. Biden did, however, concede that he would consider exiting the race if his team came and told him there was, quote, no way he could win. So Biden's basically, in some way, he's shifting the goalpost here, or like disingenuously setting up a condition he knows will never be met, where it's like, hey, Jack, if my diehard supporters tell me to drop out, I'll drop out. But first of all, we know he's not going to do that even then because Biden's full of himself. And he's being gassed up by his family. I don't think he will. But also, he did theoretically provide an opportunity for the Democratic Party to go to his team and say, hey, you're going to tell Biden to drop out. We've made the decision he's not going to be the candidate. And then that be sort of his exit from the race, while, I don't know, maintaining some semblance of his pride. It's a lot of playing politics that isn't really necessary. This is kind of like, this is the first flaw in the facade of Biden, like being resolute in just still being the nominee. Oh, is this oh, this is Volcanic Skyway. Okay, I didn't recognize the retexture, but I looked at the minimap and recognized it instantly. I hope that guy behind me doesn't have red shells. That'd be a shame. I don't know if that was the right route. It just seemed like it because the other guy did it. Okay. Oh, I remember that. Jeez, that's an old school trick. Okay. Is this... Oh, this is Slippery Road. Interesting. Yeah, I know the bottom route's a little bit faster. About to have a Mega in first, maybe? Yo, this guy's on Mario? What a homie. Okay, they had a mushroom. Yeah, I did the thing. No, that's not how you do the... Okay. I don't know how to get to the bottom route, so I'm probably gonna have to play as if that's not a thing for now. You know what I can do, though, I think, is that shortcut on the mushrooms. Or on the mushroom pads. Right? Where do you go for that? Like this? That was really sketchy, but it worked. I'm out of bounds. I'm out of bounds. Dang it. Map looking pretty good, though. Yeah, this is cool. It's a cool map. Rip. Hey, yeah, I mean there was something there potentially. Here we go. Okay, second place. Cool. That was good. Holy shit, I forgot how little Biden had made public appearances. The last time Biden held a solo press conference was in November of 2023 after his meeting with President Xi Jinping of China in California. So that's what? That was just that news piece I think jumped out to me because some of the like Democratic Party, like the massive donors, saying that they're not going to donate money until Biden drops out of the race or until the Democratic Party picks a different nominee. That's significant because these are contingents of the capital class, people who have real influence in the Democratic Party. So, at the risk of getting a little bit optimistic, I think we are going to see the whole Biden getting replaced thing after all. Like, I think that's going to happen. Bro, that shortcut goes crazy. I don't even know how you do that. How did he get over there? Dude. My red shell just disappeared. Sick. I could save this for the shortcut. In fact, I will. I'm going to use it here. Okay. However, a little caveat to the thing where I was like, it does seem that what I predicted is happening is that it seems like the Democratic Party is doing the thing where they try to wait until the last possible second to do it, like they do with a lot of stuff, ultimately. But I don't know how well it's ultimately gonna work out for them. Nice. Thick. I didn't even need to do anything. This is a race for second place now. Got him. Also didn't have to do anything there. Ow. No, he's gonna win by a hair. Okay. That was a good race. I liked it. 5 players? Sure. Anyway, that was it for the news. That was the one thing that I saw. You know, unironically, this would not be a problem if we had the like French proportional representation system. Seriously, the in the French election, what I remember seeing, a lot of parties have leaders and stuff, and they still have them as like the main PR person, whatever. In multi-party systems, it's way easier to substitute in a different leader because the politics of the party is structured around the party, not the person. Meanwhile, in France, it's possible for you to just have competent party politics without having a leader. The NFP, one of the biggest, like the biggest holder of seats in the French legislature, the left bloc has no single leader. They have a collective leadership. Seen videos pop up of people interviewing random people on the street, asking if they'll vote for Biden or Trump. Very few people say that they don't like either of them. Really? That's surprising. Way more people, at least from what current discourse and polling data indicates, nobody likes either of them. People don't really like Biden. People don't really like Trump. Or did you, like, mistype? Was that faster even without a mushroom? It might be. God. Does he go that way? He does. Interesting. I think most of the question, if you had to pick one too serious. Oh, okay. Then that's kind of a different question. Like, because most people are capable of recognizing that even if you don't like one of the two, one will be the preferable option to vote for still. Like, take me, for instance. I really don't like... Oh, they just dislike one of the two too much that they talk about, nothing else. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's an example of what I mean. I don't like Biden, but I dislike Trump more because of the ideologies they both represent. So I will vote for Joe Biden if he's the nominee, not because I like him. In fact, I dislike him, but because he's a preferable, like, alternative. Out of the two, he's the least bad. So yeah, I guess that, that fits pretty much in line with what all the discourse has been. It's like a lesser evil thing. Like, I hate both of them, but I hate Biden less, so I'll vote for Biden or something like that, right? A lot of people having responses like that seems pretty characteristic of the current political climate and the sort of apathy that's been generated by, the Republicans being fascists and then the Democrats not doing much in the way of media messaging to gin up support for their platform. So, yeah. Mushroom. Oh, he's in a star? Let's go, dude. Oh, dude, he's on outside drift bike? What a G. I did it. I did the shortcut. Is that shortcut worth it, Shrimless? I wonder. Well, I won't have to find out because I got another mushroom. Or maybe I will have to find out. We'll see. Yeah, he had a banana. Okay. What if I tried to do this anyway? I think that's just barely not worth it, Shrimless. I think it was worth experimenting to see if it was worth it, but it ended up not being. Imagine. God, that'd be funny. If I got that snipe from like 2 miles away. Oh, what? It hit nothing. Random guy started chasing them, saying probably every swear in the dictionary. I heart New York. I love New Yorkers with the mouth of a sailor. Got him. I want that first place. Just cuz. You know? Cool. Keep going straight. And we're good. You know what's fucked up? Joe Biden's support is so deteriorated that New York is now a swing state. New York, like the quintessential Democratic state, is now, like, according to internal polling data at the Democratic Party. I mean, look, we all know that polls were invented by the devil to give us anxiety, but according to the best data that we have, New York could potentially vote Republican if Biden is still the nominee. Like, it is beyond Jover. You know? Like, they need to get him out yesterday and replace him with Kamala Harris. Like, take the coconut pill. Let's go. Get Kamala in there. But I think that actually, that's about the extent of what I have to say, is that, you know, things can only get worse for Joe Biden. They can't really get better. And I think that the Democratic Party is actually going to replace him if the NBC article I looked at is of any indication. And of course, the attitudes expressed by Democratic Party leadership as well. But until then, we'll just have to keep watching the clown show unfold, it seems. And at the risk of going on for too long, future me, cut the segment there. You know what to do. Nice. Ah, Strobin's Desert. Let's see if I can remember how you're supposed to do this track. Huh? Okay. Well. So far, so good. I didn't get, like, mushrooms at the start or anything, so I'm back here, but that's fine. You can drive on that, okay. Don't fall off there. A little bit janky, but, you know, we'll take it. Never mind. Okay. One mistake costs you on this track. Okay. Mushroom. Let's go through there. Oh, that's so much faster than if you try to do the whole trick thing. Get me out of the way of that tornado. Thank you. Oh, Cassie boys in the room? Let's go. Are they karting? I wonder. Ugh, I'm bouncing around everywhere. So far, my driving has been bad, but I've remembered all of what you're supposed to do on this track, which I think... That's you know what? That's, like, objective accomplished for this track, is I haven't, like, messed up the core of what you're supposed to do on the track itself. I've messed up some of the nuances of driving, but my track knowledge is fine. Yes, get me up there. Ow. Blue shell? Alright. I think I need another box. There we go. Okay, good. No! Ugh! I shouldn't have tricked there. If I didn't trick, I would have been fine. I raced so bad. I deserve the place that I got. Oh, my reactions were bad. My lines were bad. I made one critical mistake, but then all my driving was really sloppy. Oh boy. I gotta remember where those bomb cars are. I think that's where everything started to go downhill. Is those bomb cars just fucking ended me. That track, who was saying it was Mushroom Peaks better or whatever? That track is bad. I don't know why it's in the pack. I think it's been nice for everybody to have the Stroben's Desert throwback, but honestly, the original Stroben's Desert was better than that. It was more evident where you were supposed to go in the original Stroben's Desert than on that track. You know? Just because of the abundance of colors. There are so many clashing colors that my eyes, can't focus. You know? And it doesn't help that I'm colorblind, but I feel like it might not even be a colorblind issue, right? If anything, the colorblind would help. The color blindness should help because the greens and oranges blend together a little bit. But no, there's too many blues and grays and, whites as well. And all right next to each other. Seriously, you have that road where it's, off-white going into blue going into, purple or something? It is so hard to tell. Gothic Castle. Okay, I know this track. Alright. Oh, we got 11 players? Let's go. What's up, FNAF Freddy's Black, bruh? Welcome back to the stream. Ow. This track's so weird. Gotta be so for real. This track is weird, but this is a breath of fresh air compared to the last fucking thing I played, which was the Stroben's Desert track. Oh, that mushroom basically didn't help. Well, it kind of helped. I was gonna say 7th is a good place to be in for this item pull, but I only got a blue shell, so lame. Triple greens? Dang. I feel that? Yeah. How did I not hit that? We take those. No, I didn't get a box. Bro's losing to Huckster? I don't even know who Huckster is. It's not like I'm driving great today, so. I know who Kazzy Boy is, though. Don't fucking squish me, dude. I'm playing a dangerous game going for the draft on somebody in a mega. But, you know, we ball. I'm gonna save this mushroom if I can. This is the first, like, decent item I've gotten the whole race. Oh, just a guy who's on TWG 98's knockout slot? Oh, okay. Give me that mushroom. Decently good player? I got you. What's up, Kazzy boy? I'm in second? How did this happen? I'm in first? How did this happen? I was fucking chugging balls for most of that race, and then I think the shock killed everybody, and then I got, like, red shell into green shell, and then fucking made everybody afraid, and somehow that put me in first. Great, cool, thank you. My boring ass watched another dude talk about Project 2025 take multiple political compass tests for over 5 hours. I was up until 4 a.m. last night. God damn. That's that internet politics hunger. You hunger for political content. You're content pilled, even. Whether that's good or bad, I will let the people decide. The political compass is, I have some thoughts on it. It's not as stupid as it seems. It's mostly a test of principles rather than like party affiliation, obviously, because parties are imperfect manifestations of politics that work within systems that like influence them one way or the other, and provide incentives to sort of sabotage their principles in some instances or double down in others, in situations that may be more or less ideal. But one thing, like, the political compass test is close to being correct in terms of political spectrum. I think the political spectrum is most easily imagined as left and right, and then the political compass adds another easy dimension, which is authoritarian and libertarian. You know? But fundamentally, I think that, like, there's really, like, the political compass has 4 quadrants when really it should be more like 3. You know, there are 3 like fundamental ideologies present in the world right now, and those are liberalism, fascism, and socialism, right? Like, those are the 3 main ones. Although I don't know, I guess in some respects, you know, you kind of do what you got to do to communicate certain political concepts, right? Oh, it gave me first. Interesting. Everyone I would agree with is rather banned or just doesn't exist on Twitch, or they're old geezers who speak an entirely different language, like a college class. Entirely agree, but take it farther. 2 3D graphs. I'm dead. To judge a scale. I'm almost a little bit sus of like everybody I agree with is like banned or doesn't exist on Twitch. Like, It was fun though, somehow. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Political compass tests and stuff can be fun. It's kind of like horoscopes for guys. Or something like that. It's pretty goofy. Yeah. Okay, sick. To be fair, I'd find that sus too. Lamau. Yeah. It's because a lot of the people I can think of being banned from Twitch are like Destiny or like conservatives that overtly Nazi posted a little too hard, you know? Third, okay. But it's possible there are some other folks out there that I'm not aware of that are like banned from Twitch. I mean, hell, there are lefties that get banned from Twitch too. It's mainly just people who don't even go onto Twitch. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Because they don't care to. Yeah, you know, there are a lot of people that stream on YouTube as well. Or Kick, but Kick is like blighted. I think that most political content creators I know of primarily exist on YouTube. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the exact mechanics that like operate that make people a lot of that sort of make people prefer YouTube as like an API or whatever. YouTube streaming is awful, so I never bother watching streams from YouTube. Yeah, the people whose streams I watch, they have their own websites that like just restream a YouTube stream to like the website, which is more like Twitch in its interface. Twitch has a really good interface for interacting with live chat, and it's like easy to, it's like intuitive. YouTube is very much like video uploading first, live streaming second, if at all. But a lot more people are familiar with like how the YouTube algorithm works than the Twitch algorithm or whatever, so. Kick is just like, I don't know, man. Kick is, you know, like I said, kind of blighted. Kick is where all the gambling streamers went when gambling was banned on Twitch. Pretty much. That's the best way to do that section, I think. Oh, did Huckster fail? Interesting. Nobody's on the politics category except for 24/7 Gaza War View, which sure is interesting, but has no audio, no commentary, so it's also somewhat a waste of time. And I'm serious, by the way, it's only that dude. Really? Huh. It on Kick, you mean? That's kind of wacky. Yeah. That seems like an opportunity for somebody to be a Kick politics live streamer or whatever, or to stream politics to Kick. It definitely does. Yeah, it like, just from a... Getting ideas? I mean, maybe. I don't know if you're allowed to restream, like, double stream to Twitch and Kick, but... I don't know, I'm thinking about it, honestly. You know? I would have to have the chats, the Kick and Twitch chats in different windows. Twitch does though, you just want to hide it. Kick doesn't care, Twitch does. Yeah. Yeah, I would probably, what I would do if I was streaming to Kick as well as Twitch, what I would do is I would have the Twitch chat up, but I wouldn't have the Kick chat on screen. I'd be able to see both of them, but I wouldn't have it displayed on screen. That's exactly what happens, yeah. Yeah. Because Kick, like, advertised itself as no censorship platform or whatever, which really just means that chatters are out there saying the N-word constantly. Oh, shock dodge? That's sick. He's gonna get second. Okay. Tight race between me and Huckster. At least at the end. I think I fucked up at that turn. I was close to doing it right. You gotta, like, get super low air off the first one. That shoots you down. That's the fastest way to do that part. And it sets you up for the shortcut super easily. Let me actually look that up. Restreaming to kick. Double stream to Twitch and kick. Are we allowed to dual stream on Kick and Twitch at the same time? No, do it anyways. No one's been banned from it. As an affiliate, no. If you're not an affiliate or partner, yes. Well, fuck. I'm a Twitch affiliate. I just got, like, a year or two ago, I became a Twitch affiliate. And I thought that would get, like, some sort of benefit that I'd be able to use in the Twitch algorithm. I do, something? Okay, yeah. Gotta love being a Twitch affiliate. Thing to note about streaming services? I mean, maybe I should take the guys' advice on Reddit. Just fucking do it anyway. What are they gonna do? Revoke my affiliate status? Sure. Like, whatever. I actually managed to pass that. That's kind of crazy. Oh, this is a perfect spot to use this. I find more left-wingers, as in socialists, than anybody else on Twitch as a majority, not a minority, just fun facts, I suppose. That actually makes a lot of sense. You know what's interesting? Twitch is the most consistent about enforcing its TOS, and like the TOS is pretty inoffensive. And what's funny is a lot of right-wingers on Twitter and wherever will complain about like the TOS when they objectively get preferential treatment. Like in order to ensure like a kind of some kind of preferential treat or like some kind of presence for conservatives, Twitter and other social media platforms literally have to treat conservatives differently so they don't constantly get banned for breaking the rules. You know, and the rules will be really basic stuff like hate speech, harassment, slurs, and whatever, and death threats and such. Disproportionately, conservatives get caught by that more than liberals and socialists do. And so I guess it makes sense that, like, Twitch being, I think, the only platform that really enforces its TOS would have, like, a bigger presence of socialists. I don't know. I'm gonna chain this. I think I squished Huckster at the line. It's more or less how to put this online persona, per se. Like, they're really LARPy. That also makes sense. Socialists tend to be very LARPy. At least more LARPy than somebody like me, or like liberals. Liberals actually don't tend to be that LARPy. They tend to just be like fucking condescending, and like assuming more people in general not caring about rules online. But yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's like, I think it's just that the rules tend to be really basic, and so as a result, conservatives tend to break those rules more because they have to do with like not harassing people or inciting death threats or like calling people slurs. And socialists tend to not really do that anyways. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of socialists that have been banned for violating TOS. You know, Fed posters out, and we don't want to get each other banned over that. Yeah, okay. We don't like the rules, but we know we have to follow them in order to subvert them in some ways. It's like that malicious compliance thing. Although sometimes TOSs are like pretty inoffensive. Mostly it's real world rules that fucking suck. Somebody else do that? Oh, they did. Huh. I love Twitter, you get different opinions and shit, no matter how chaotic. Subreddit disagrees with you. They try to ruin your fucking life. Yeah. If a subreddit disagrees with you, they fucking ruin your life. Meanwhile, on Twitter, you get what? Like, you get quote tweeted and ratioed? Like, sure. Everybody's gotten ratioed and quote tweeted a few times. Also, very ban trigger happy. That's true. Subreddits are much more decentralized, so they often have their own rules separate from Reddit TOS. So you'll just get banned for, like, saying some shit a moderator doesn't like. In that way, it's kind of like Discord. Reddit is absolutely nuts, yeah. Oh, that was rough. This was actually a really well-timed blooper. Barely got it. And even then, that was not clean. That worked out, kind of. Best site for free speech besides Twitter? Well, Twitter isn't the best site for free speech, so that's out of the question already. You know? Twitter's very ban trigger happy for left-wingers and for certain words that it doesn't like. Like, fucking saying the word cis, like cisgender, as opposed to transgender, will get you shadow banned. And sometimes just straight up, like, not even shadow banned, just regular banned. You know? Twitter is like the opposite direction, where now, since Elon took over, the TOS has been openly hostile towards people that don't harass and, like, dead name other people, which is interesting. I don't think there's really any website that you could judge as being like free speech platform, because here's the thing, right? There's a natural gravitation towards a certain set of rules, right? Every platform that has been free speech, or in the sense of like, yeah, we won't ban anything that is literally not like literally illegal, has had a problem where people start posting shit that may or may not be literally illegal, and then they have to start banning people like even more. I don't know what that means. Is that like slur or something? You might already know, I'm clueless about gender stuff. Cisgender just means you identify with the gender you were assigned at birth. Also, Beyond B-Day, thank you for the follow and welcome. So, like, I'm a cisgender guy. I was born a guy, I'm still identify as a guy, you know, whatever. Transgender means maybe you were born as a guy, like, you know, you were assigned male at birth, and then at some point you either realized or decided, I don't like life as a guy. I really don't, and I want to transition into being a woman, which has massive implications and all that. But then when you start living as a woman, identifying as a woman, whatever, then you become a transgender woman. You're a woman, but you were assigned male at birth. And the same goes for like transgender men assigned, they would be assigned female at birth. But at some point they were like, wait a minute, this is wrong. I want to be a man. I want to be a boy. And a lot of times this manifests really early. And then, that's being a transgender man. It's like the Latin term of cis and trans. This side versus cross to the other side. Cis and trans are not slurs, but there are slurs for trans people, predictably. And those are not banned on Twitter. The words cis and trans, I believe, are soft banned or like shadow banned, but the slur for trans people is not. So, kind of lame. Telegram could be described as a good platform for freedom of speech. Yeah, but you get gore photos there and shit. Not sure if it could be considered true social media. Yeah, Telegram is a different kind of case. It's a little bit like, it's more of a, I don't know, phone version of Discord? I don't know. Hold on, so people got shadow banned for that? Yeah. Seems like an unimportant thing to easily ignore. Instead of like executing their right to say their view, etc. Yeah, it's because Elon is a spiteful prick, and I think one of his kids is trans, and he is like incredibly like self-unaware. I think that the whole reason that he banned the terms cis and trans, like as in not the slur for them, and like started specifically unbanning child predators and like anti-trans hate accounts, is because his kid was trans and he didn't like that, and his kids don't talk to him anymore, and he's like really resentful of them for that or something like that. It's really sad story for a really sad human being, but that's ultimately why. Sorry, this was a distraction here. No, it's all good. It's all good. I get distracted all the time. It's no big deal. It's all part of the process. Look, you're literally talking to somebody with the ADHD cocktail, Yeah, it's perfectly fine if like, well, I wouldn't know stuff. It's all good. Oh, shit. Okay, so that's how you do that. A lot of people, like, get the, like, high speed off of that bounce pad, and I didn't really remember how to do it. So let's just get up. Here, I'm gonna try to get past this section, and then I'll... I searched this kid up, use trans or some, whatever you said. See, as a father, sure, it's your view, but banning it on an entire platform is kind of fucked. Yeah, it is pretty fucked. And a lot of conservative parents have this this specific problem where their views will be anti-trans, and they'll try to like project that onto their kids, or it will negatively impact their kids, and as a result, they like disown their kids. Their kids just stop talking to them, and they are so unaware of like the context in which anything is happening that they're like, why won't my kids talk to me anymore? Like, I don't know, maybe it's because you refuse to acknowledge that they are who they are and tried to pigeonhole them into a certain set of stereotypes, right? Like, that on its own is bad enough, but like, yeah, like you said, like taking that out on an entire social media platform is next level petty. But, that's just the internet. Never forget that a lot of social media outlets have insane problems and cultivate people with insane problems, right? Like a lot of times on Twitter, extremely entertaining, by the way, but it sort of pre-selects for some of the worst kinds of people that you can find on the internet. When there are probably more people in real life that are the sort of libertarian grill pill type of person who will have like the t-shirt that says I love my trans son and my AR-15. There are probably more people like that in the world than there are like on the far right that are so genuinely hateful and spiteful towards trans people, like specifically. You know? Red shell? Red shells tend to shit themselves on this track, but we'll see if there's an opportunity. Probably be on the side of the parent themselves if it was just guidance, not a forced thing, but I'm assuming, oh, this track fucking sucks. Yeah, it's still a very odd thing. Yeah, like, I actually wouldn't, I would still not be on the parent's side if it was like a guidance thing, if they encouraged them not to be trans, because parents have a lot of social power in their kid's life, and the implied, I would have to learn more. Yeah, I mean, it's no problem. There's plenty of academic literature, actually, on the phenomenon of trans identity in the youth specifically. It's a very well studied subject actually since like the 2000s. But like even the parents trying to sort of coax their kids out of being trans has profoundly negative psychological consequences. If you like, the bottom line is like all the research indicates, all the mental health outcomes and physical health even outcomes indicate that if you love your kid and they say that they're trans, you should accept them, and you should be like, okay, and try to understand what it is that they think and how they feel, right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, kids are just smaller humans, right? Kids are just adults that haven't fully grown up yet. Like, it sounds tautological and whatever to say, but a lot of times, some of the prevailing mindsets that end up like making people really anti-trans are like that their kids are their property or something. And so it's important to just keep that prevailing mindset of like, well, my kid is a person too. They, you know, they can do what they want with themselves, you know, which doesn't mean you should go letting them touch the stove while it's on, but, you know, why it comes in why they want to change more than stopping the change. Yeah, I guess it's important to understand why, but that shouldn't be a, you know, you shouldn't hold it up as a barrier. Sometimes it's hard to explain. You know, a lot of times with feelings, especially with emotional feelings, a lot of times, you know, states of mind are very emotionally dictated. It's hard to justify to, like, why you feel a certain way. Sometimes. That's 2 mushrooms, standstills anyways. Well, I needed the 2 mushrooms for the shortcut, so yeah. Because, you know, you do the shortcut, you win the race. That's one of the reasons this track is not well designed, is because if you have 1 mushroom on lap 3, you win. But in my case, I wanted to make sure I have that cushioning of at least 2. Alright, 2nd place. And by the way, when I say academic literature, this is one thing that stuck out in my mind. I don't mean the Cass report. Yale has already discredited that, like, heavily. It's been massively discredited. There are some far-right attempts to sort of cobble together something academic-seeming that says this is why you shouldn't let your kids transition because it's a sign of degeneracy or whatever. But ultimately, the reason they do that is because a lot of people on the right realize that a lot of the scientific literature on the subject point to very transpositive conclusions that you should, like, sort of let kids pursue their feelings with respect to that or whatever, or at least there should be medical procedures and psychological procedures and whatever, like consultation, whatever, readily available for kids that are in this state of mind, because gender dysphoria can have a whole host of nasty side effects, including depression. That's why some of the suicide rates among trans people are so high. is because they're marginalized after they transition. They're marginalized before they transition. It's just like gay people being in the closet. You feel like you perpetually have to lock yourself up in a certain way. Otherwise, you could face massive social consequences, bullying, hate crimes, even stuff like that. It's best to take the lightest possible touch with issues like that. Yeah. Otherwise, you get the UK, which in which the politics are basically dictated by whatever J.K. Rowling wants. So you already know my top priority is transportation. Yeah, that's true. Recent news say the DRT is about to increase their costs again. It's so stupid. I want to go to Ottawa to Ajax without spending over $6, man. Yeah. Pretty reasonable end goal, I think. But yeah, Canada is definitely stuck in the car infrastructure brain state. Who's J.K. Rowling? Well, she used to be known. She's a British billionaire politician of sorts. No, she's actually not a politician. She's a British billionaire who made her money off of writing the Harry Potter books. She was the author of those books and some other stuff that nobody really cared about. But with time, she went down this like anti-trans rabbit hole, and now she's just like queen of the transphobes, queen of the turfs or whatever. And she's known more for her like sicking massive harassment campaigns on small trans social media accounts and Holocaust denial than she is for writing those books. You know. How dare you, barbarian of culture? God damn, pulling no punches today. I'm gonna start throwing these forward. Star Cup fan? I too am a appreciator of the sparkly Star Cup. I think that this track is one of my strongest. Didn't hear the last part, by the way. Just heard Holocaust and my brain dropped out. Yeah, J.K. Rowling, initial claim to fame was writing Harry Potter, and then, like, one long anti-trans pipeline later, she's doing Holocaust denial on Twitter. I think it was, like, somebody... She just has a habit of, like, screenshotting or quote tweeting random tiny, like, no-name accounts to harass them. Because she literally doesn't have anything better to do with her time, I guess. And one of the things that she screenshot and quote tweeted was like an account saying, "Hey, by the way, remember this is how the Nazis talked with regards to trans people. And in fact, trans people were one of the earliest groups that were targeted by the Nazis," which is true. The most infamous photo of a book burning is the Nazis burning I think the Sexual Research Institute in Berlin, which had a lot of early literature on trans people. There was a lot of research there on the phenomenon of trans identity. And that was one of the first targets of the Nazi book burning campaigns. And J.K. Rowling was like denying that trans people were ever a target of the Nazis, because in her, I think she at some point said, well, they couldn't have been a target of the Nazis because trans people aren't real, which is what the Nazis said. The Nazis said that none of this is real, you're all just degenerates. And that's what J.K. Rowling effectively said. It's kind of the general line of the far right, but it was kind of a wild conclusion to see J.K. Rowling, who used to be like a memed upon for being so liberal that she would just retcon random characters to be gay or black or brown or whatever, but then now she's just a contingent part of the far right. Trans people existed in World War II times. Surprised considering the survival rate for surgeries, etc., due to modern times having much better surgery rate. Oh yeah, World War II was some of the earliest, like, or actually it was before World War II. It was about 10 years before, in the 1930s. Trans surgeries were in the very early stages. They were a thing. Finally won a manhunt game. Cool. Trans surgery did exist in an early form in the 1930s, but if you can believe it, trans people have actually been around for thousands of years. I'm an archaeologist by education. I'm trained in archaeological field methods, and there are a number of cases where there's pretty good evidence for trans people in like pre-Roman civilizations and stuff. Trans people have been around for basically as long as we've had a concept of gender. You know? Like, I believe one of the more famous examples of this is the Vix Princess, which is like, it's like skeletal remains that are, by all intents and purposes, they indicate like, oh, this person was like, I don't know, female or something, but they were buried with all like grave goods that would be typical of a guy, which led people to speculate that like, oh, then the most likely outcome here is that this was, you know, maybe like a trans woman. And there's also a lot of historical documentation to support the existence of trans priests in Babylon with the Babylonian religion in Mesopotamia. It was like a holy phenomenon of theirs. A lot of trans people were priests in the what is it, like the, it's not the Tower of Babel, but there were like buildings that looked like that. They were kind of like the religious temples of Babylon and Assyria. So yeah. Don't they use bones for that stuff? I might just be completely oblivious here. Yeah, well, the bones are oftentimes all that's left, so that's what is sometimes used. But more frequently, bones don't survive as well as certain grave goods, like social goods. You know, stuff that indicates prestige or status or some kind of personal belongings. Those tend to survive more often than skeletons do, at least complete skeletons. And with regards to skeletons, it's not so simple. It's not as clear-cut as that. Because there are like various ranges of skeletal features present in both more masculine and feminine individuals. There are some women with much more masculine seeming skeletal structures than guys. Cis women, not even trans women. You know, that muddies the waters a lot. So skeletons are not as reliable an indicator of gender as they may seem, because at the end of the day, gender is a social designation, not like a biological or immutable one. You know, so it's more of a consistent identifier to look at the social identifiers buried with the skeleton. You know, and to top it all off, identifying gender in ancient times is often a pretty difficult task because we sort of superimpose our concept of gender with, you know, man, woman, transgender woman, or like, I don't know, intersex or whatever. We kind of transpose our 20th to 21st century gender concepts onto a world in which those didn't exist. You know? Trans priests sound interesting. Most likely men going to like women or something. Actually, both. As I recall, women ain't allowed to be priests, or at least not today, so not a religious guy, so got no damn idea. No, priests were co-ed back in the day, because it was a religion with many sexual overtones, undertones, and just straight tones. The women aren't allowed to be priest thing mostly surfaced with Greece and Rome. Prior to that, before you started getting much more hierarchical states, but prior to that, there were a lot less gender designations and restrictions. New term I also don't understand. What's an intersex? Intersex is when somebody is born with physical characteristics of both sexes, such that you can't determine whether they're one or the other because they're both. So, like, you could have booba and caca, and just be born with that. And that would be intersex. Or, like, there's sort of a hormone spectrum, right? There's, like, a spectrum of how your body distributes hormones, what kind of hormones you get. Both men and women have a little bit of the other, like, sex hormone in them, but occasionally you get an overlap such that it's ambiguous enough that it's impossible to tell which one is more dominant. And sometimes it's a subtle enough thing that you could go, like, somebody could go their whole life without really knowing that they're intersex, and, like, have the characteristics of the other sex. Because at the end of the day, sexual dimorphism among humans is decently low, you know? There's certain elements of fat distribution and like, sexual parts and whatever that can indicate whether somebody's intersex. But if you take, like, the median or average, like, the average man and the average woman look very similar. So it's, like, a lot of times it's very hard to tell. So they're born with both, so Buddha? Not necessarily. That was just, like, an extreme example. More often, what you get is somebody who was born with, like, very subtle equivalents of that feature. Where like, if they're born with a dick, then usually it's like, oh, they're just a guy. But then maybe they develop a couple of more feminine secondary sex characteristics later. Like, not very pronounced stuff. DNA hormone malfunction? It's not a malfunction. It's just plain old function. It's not, it's like, that's one of the like, misconceptions. It's not because of a malfunction. That's just how their body works. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the way their DNA is structured or whatever. Everything in an intersex person is functioning exactly how it should be. It's just a very rare phenomenon. Sometimes that happens. Kind of like people with red hair are really rare. Or people who are have a lot of freckles. That's really rare. Or people with eyes that change color. Or heterochromia. Top 5 track. This track is really good. But, that kind of information, that's a lot to unpack. The notion of, like, gender not being as simple as you sort of learn it growing up, or like, learning more today, so that's nice. That's great. I love that. Or the existence of intersex people. When you get more and more into the details of stuff, it gets really complicated. It might not be immediately intuitive to some people. So a lot of times that creates the, like, far-right reactionism where you have an initial resistance to it, which only grows stronger with time. And people sort of reject it out of hand, or they're looking for, like, a small, convenient scapegoat for a lot of their problems. Because intersex and, transgender identity, as normal as they are, they're not very common, like, it's just something that you see every now and again. I think, like, best estimates currently are that, trans people account for maybe 1-ish% of the population in the US or in other countries or wherever. And then about the same for intersex people, maybe slightly less. Or actually, no, slightly more, because a lot of the estimates account for intersex traits being so subtle that you could just go and like, people could go their entire lifetimes without knowing that they have intersex characteristics. It's just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. To be fair, 1% doesn't seem that rare. That's what, 3.5 million people? Yeah, that is a lot of people in the United States. But yeah, it's like, it's rare in the same way that, I don't know, somebody with red hair or heterochromia would be rare. In fact, I think one of those, heterochromia might be even more rare than trans identity and like intersex characteristics. And a lot of data indicates as well, our numbers could be off for trans identity as well, because there's a lot of social pressure against being trans in polite society. Like kind of like with the graph of left-handed people over time, when a lot of the social pressures that dictate people not be trans start to disappear, you'll see like an increase in the number of people that are trans. Not because more people are actually trans, but because more people feel comfortable identifying that way. And then it's gonna probably level off. I don't know what level it's like would level off at or anything, but Casually, the entire population of Ottawa. It is a lot of people. You know, proportionately, it's a small percentage, but that is a lot of people. You know? In fact, Canada has what, 20 million people? It's probably about 200,000 trans people. It's a decent amount. I mean, 3.5 million people is more than the whole 40 million. Okay, yeah, so like I don't know, 400,000 ish. Which you know, 3.5 million is more than the entire population of Chicago, one of the America's biggest cities, and 400,000 is larger than the city where I live, which is just outside of DC. You know, it's just there's so many fucking people in the world. But as always, the far right, like they've done with other minorities in the past, they sort of pick a small group of people and they do the whole dripping honey into people's ears. All your problems will go away if only this group of people is dealt with. You know? And that leads to a whole host of, well, bad stuff. Ah, perfect. I've practiced this track, so I know what to do now. No. It's getting me to think of some funny shit. You know, lefties fight each other, being what a lefty means. That's true. That is a very frequent thing that happens on the left. You know, lefty infighting. Very, very nice meme. Put them all in DC and we'll see the funniest protest ever? Yes. Well, you know what's funny? DC is already full of lefties. Because DC isn't a state and doesn't have representation, which pushes people to the left. They're like, what the fuck? We don't have representation here. It's fucked up. In fact, I think DC voted like 92% for Joe Biden in 2020 or something like that. Like, it was not close. Ah, okay, that's a mushroom shortcut. Interesting. Yeah, 92% or something. It's a lot. But yeah, lefty infighting is funny when it's not like massively detrimental to everybody's well-being. And so is like right-wing infighting, like in the far right and a lot of like big conservative parties. Something that, you know, I very rarely agree with Destiny on stuff, but I think he hit the nail on the head with this one take, and I will defend this take until the day I die. Lefty infighting tends to be a lot at the grassroots level, and not so much in the halls of power because, you know, the left isn't very frequently in the halls of power, you know? It's like randos fighting on Twitter or X community fighting with Y community or whatever. Meanwhile, right-wing infighting will be like government paralyzing institutional bickering between like the conservative party that believes this thing and then the far right party that believes this thing but more or whatever. And so as a result, it's like so much more paralyzing for the right wing to be fighting amongst themselves than the left, because a lot of times, you know, it's like the left doesn't have that much power with which to be paralyzed in the first place. Very recent. I mean, I find it very odd that DC is such a small state isn't a state. What is America doing? Well, the reason behind that is very simple. DC is very left-leaning, so Republicans don't want it to be a state. That's the only reason that DC and Puerto Rico are not states. DC, home to about 500,000 people, which is more than some U.S. states. You know, I think Wyoming and Alaska have a smaller population than Washington, D.C. And Puerto Rico is home to easily 1 million people, which is larger than quite a few states. In fact, most of the Great Plains states up north, like Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, none of them crack 1 million people, and they're states. The only reason that Puerto Rico isn't a state and that Washington, D.C. isn't a state is because Republicans know that they would overwhelmingly vote for Democrats. And so they've kept them disenfranchised for that reason. Puerto Rico or something, right? Ain't that shit an island near Cuba? It is. It is a U.S. territory. Like kind of like Guam or the Virgin Islands, or American Samoa. Virgin Islands is where we put all the virgins, of course. You know. But yeah, I think America like conquered it in the Spanish American War or something, and it's been an American territory ever since. We'll have the electoral college or something anyways. Can't they just adjust the numbers? No, you would have to add numbers for that. Because the way the electoral college is set up, it corresponds exactly to the amount of seats that each state has in the legislature. You would literally have to change how many seats a state has solely for the purpose of like you would have to like adjust seats without there being an adjustment in population. Seats can change when a census happens, but for Puerto Rico, that's 1 million people that straight up are not represented at all in the national legislature. You would have to just add seats, which has been done before. Remember, the United States didn't always have 50 states. And so there used to be less than however many seats there are right now. I think it's 435 in the House of Representatives. And there used to be less than 50 in this, or less than 100 in the Senate, because there weren't always 50 states. But every state always got 2 senators. And then I think like 1 representative for every few 100,000 people. Like for every 5 or 600,000. Doesn't Cali vote like 3 times less than Wyoming vote because of how fucked the voting is proportionally? Yes, that's because of the Senate. Because we don't have a national popular vote system, we have the electoral college. That means that the electoral votes for each state is equivalent to the amount of representatives they have plus the amount of senators they have, which means that since every state, irrespective of population, gets 2 senators, a vote in Wyoming objectively matters more and impacts the system more than a vote in California. This is like the electoral college is basically what allows the right wing a institutional leg up in elections. That's just stupid, isn't it? Well, it's favors the conservatives, so it's still in there. Conservatives being the party of like property interests and big business and stuff. So it hasn't changed since forever. It is pretty dumb because it's not like we would have any trouble counting votes, you know? That shit is easy to do with modern tech and modern logistics. But again, if the electoral college were gone, Republicans would lose. And the Democrats are too civility pilled for that to happen. And the Republicans obviously don't want that to happen. They also don't care about democracy very much. So there's a whole host of anti-democratic institutions in America that just remain in place. For example, the Electoral College, the Senate, the unelected, unaccountable court judges that serve for life. DC and Puerto Rico not being states, leading to more than 1.5 million people just straight up being taxed without representation. The whole reason that America rebelled from Britain in the first place. Oh, I went through it. Okay. I guess I'm supposed to trick there? If the Democrats, for whatever reason, got a supermajority and changed it, would the votes be more fair? I think they would be. Like the Electoral College, you mean? Because in that case, yeah, I think, pretty easy to say yes. I've noticed the votes are fucked. Trump gets most votes than Hillary. How many? Like 2 million? Yet he won. Yeah, Trump got actually 3 million less votes than Hillary Clinton did in the 2016 election. But because Trump got more votes in certain states than Hillary did, he won more electoral votes. Which means that presidents very frequently or actually not very frequently, but it's a very real possibility that presidents can lose the popular vote by such a large margin and still win the election by way of the Electoral College. I didn't trick there, like I said you're supposed to. And that's not the only time that happened either. In the year 2000, George Bush lost the popular vote to Al Gore. Yet he won the election because of some stuff that happened in Florida, but then ultimately because the popular vote isn't what dictates the outcome of elections in America. It's the Electoral College for president, and then whoever's drawing the congressional maps a given term for congressional seats. You know, seriously, the American legislative districts look a lot like feudal fiefdoms in the Holy Roman Empire, and that's not by accident. Even though I like Trump to an extent, you gross. Doesn't mean I support the fuck up voting power for whichever either side is. Fuck, my brain like wigged out. I'm gonna take a second, then I'll read that. Oh no, I was gonna try to use. Okay. Even though I like Trump to an extent, doesn't mean I support the fuck up of voting power for either side, which is why I'm so confused how Trump won with millions of votes less. Not Americans, so I don't care necessarily. Still interesting, though. It's because the scales are rigged in the right wing's favor. The scales have always been tipped that way. The Republicans basically, they represent the business interests more so than Democrats do at this moment in time. Since they're the right-wing party, Democrats are the left, comparatively, the left party. So as a result, they fight tooth and nail to keep anti-democratic institutions alive because it means they get more power to enact their agenda. They get to bypass the popular vote. Has there ever been the opposite interaction with Dems winning? No, and that's because the Democrats, the theoretically, like, a state could exist where that happens. But see, the thing about the electoral system is that it favors rural states where there's not very much of an urban population, not very many urban centers, and urban areas tend to be less educated and vote for the right more. So that's one way in which, like, if somehow the Democrats were able to capture a proportion of the less educated rural voters, then they might potentially be able to benefit from it. But in practice, the left-wing party has never benefited from the anti-democratic institutions in the country because, you know, well, moving to the left typically means having more democracy and delegating more power to direct democratic interactions. You think a multi-party system would benefit America, and is there a potential for it, like more than two parties? Yes, I do think it would benefit massively. It would be a big benefit to America. It wouldn't fix anything. In fact, I think there are some people who oversell how good it would be. But it would unequivocally be a good addition. FNAF Freddy is black. That's a technical distinction. America, there are more than two parties are allowed to exist, but America is a first past the post system, which means that there can only ever be two relevant parties, which means Democrats and the Republicans. The Green Party exists, the Working Families Party exists, but they would, all that would happen is the votes would be split. Vote splitting would happen, and then as a result, that would sabotage the power of the party that they are most closely ideologically aligned to, in this case, the Democratic Party. And then libertarians with the Republican Party. There are multiple parties in America, but it is not a multi-party system, so those parties are not allowed ballot access very frequently because of, signature requirements and whatever. And even if they are, they never get enough votes to have any representation, because in order to have representation, it's not good enough that you get a certain percentage of votes. You have to win the election outright. You know? Just change it to how us Canadians do it? Nah. I think the Canadian system is also, like, largely a first-past-the-post system. A lot of flaws in that system. But if you look at the status of countries with more than two parties on the ballot, they tend to be a little bit in a better economic spot than the U.S., with the exception of Britain, because that's also mostly a two-party system. You have Labour and the Conservatives. But in any situation where, like, one party isn't guaranteed to win by getting 34% of the vote, where the other parties get 33%, then that's better. That's preferable. Because in the United States, you can win the election without even getting 50% of the vote. If there are 8 candidates and you get 20% of the vote and everybody else gets less than 20% of the vote, that's it, baby. You won the election. You don't even have to be a recognized party to be voted for as a party to have, 8 main parties right now, 6 getting seats. Canadian Parliament, it still looks like it has mostly two-party system to me. Yeah, that's because that's what first-past-the-post voting produces. And to a certain extent, you have to have a quote-unquote winner and loser in an election. That's kind of how elections are structured. But it's possible to mitigate that with stuff like ranked choice voting or with multiple rounds, where whoever gets, maybe not whoever gets the most votes just outright wins, but whoever gets the least votes loses. And then they move on to another round where now it's like, okay, now the person who got the least votes isn't here. Now who do you prefer? And that's a way of sort of filtering for the candidate that does have, enough viable support to be, democratically elected or whatever. It's can be a bit confusing at times in how it's implemented, but it's generally a better system than first past the post. What's up, Wagoner? My red shell broke on one of his banana peels? I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Had to get my medicine? All good, all good. We would literally be perfect. What? Oh, the Canadian system removed coalitions, made an elimination bracket. It would literally be perfect. No such thing as a perfect system. Even my ideal socialist system is not perfect. It's just better than what we have. Also, you have to have coalitions. Coalitions are good, not bad. If you don't have coalitions, then you would just go back to a first-past-the-post system. That makes it more likely that a two-party system emerges, because one party would have to have an outright majority. Perfect system involves everybody agreeing with each other, so I don't know. That's not a perfect system either. If you're thinking of what a perfect system would be, you're already allowing the perfect to be the enemy of the good. If that makes sense. You know? Ow. Ooh. We'll do one more race, and then I'll probably be done. America, in the respect of like electoral systems, America is actually kind of a unique case in the West where I think it and probably the UK and like basically all the countries that were at one point constituent parts of the British Empire need that electoral reform still. But there are a lot of countries in Europe that don't really need that as much. Like Spain and France, and for how fucked German electoral politics are, Germany and the Netherlands have a decent enough electoral framework with which to communicate which options, like which party options people genuinely want, and give them proportional representation to that effect. Portugal as well, forgot to mention that. But that's, you still get problems because there are political issues that can't be solved through the simply restructuring how somebody gets allocated a certain number of seats in government or how easy it is to pass certain things in government. A lot of it has to do with economic conditions that aren't necessarily like contingent on which like whether you have first past the post or proportional representation. Back whatever you're on. Whenever you're on Monday or something, right? Yeah, it should be Sunday. But yeah, have a good one. Must be the opposite of that, though. A true democracy is where there's disagreement. Yes, that's true. In fact, that's like the attitude of like, you know, the perfect systems where everyone agrees is sort of what it's not completely this, but it's a little bit of what fuels authoritarian movements. Is sort of that the mirage of public agreement and approval, meaning like this is a good system. Like, you know, you get somewhere like I don't know, like China, like well, Syria, like Russia, where a lot of people will have like agreeable opinions on whoever the president is or whoever the leader is and whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's like a faithful expression of the public attitudes. If that makes sense, you know? Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, the sort of if everyone agrees thing is a little bit of like a kind of a pointless thought exercise, because it's like it deals with conditions that aren't possible with a human population. People are always going to disagree on stuff, and every system that we construct has to be able to work with that. Peace out, man. Good talks as always. Yeah, see ya whenever. It's good stuff. Okay. What the? Oh my god, dude. I hate when that happens. What if I just sent it again? What if I did that? Hypothetically. Yes! I did the fucking thing! Strategy's great. That actually gained me a position. Awesome. Alright. Didn't place well, but whatever. That race was fun at the end. I appreciated it. Let's quit the game. Nice. And I'm gonna need more water. But it's okay, because stream's done. Alright. Good shit. That was way better than I expected the stream to go because my mood is often impacted by it being like gray and gloomy and rainy outside. But thankfully that didn't happen. In fact, I was in pretty good spirits today. So hope you guys like Super Smash Bros. Melee because Cody Schwab is live. The homie. Yeah, I should be back. I'm trying to stick to the regular stream schedule of once every couple days, so I should be back on Sunday. See you guys then.